Hello, welcome to the channel. So as promised, this will be the beginning of the series, Formation Tuesday. So basically what it is like we'll do a markup of the markets every Tuesday. So technically this is a Wednesday a Wednesday morning, but normally it will be a Tuesday evening or in the night, and technically at that point it's Asian session, so you get to trade whatever calls I made starting on Wednesday morning. So not ideal, but still fits in those time frames, right? So Formation Tuesday will break down the markets every Tuesday evening, and sometimes it will be a live session where you get to be live with me and ask questions. Yeah. So let's start with oil, US oil, with a top-down analysis here. So I've done this markup here, but I'm going to delete everything for the purpose of this breakdown. So what can we see here? US oil on the H4 time frame. See, oil created this level here, touch, and a spike to the upside. What we can see here is that the market created a new high. Yep. Breaking this high here. But the market came back down, and what did it do? It broke this low, and this is where we are currently trading now. So currently oil is bearish. So this is our main low within this range, and this is our main high within this range. So what I'm going to do is to connect the two current lows, and that gives us this nice trend line. So from how this is going, we clearly see this is a bearish structure. So oil has been dropping from this level here, and the downward momentum is still in focus right now. So there are a few things that could happen on oil at the moment. So first of all, let's highlight this high that was broken here. Yeah. And connect this line here. So first of all, this is a potential level for price to come to give us a head and shoulders pattern. And another thing to take note of is there is a hidden liquidity that price has created here. So instead of price coming here, this is what we could get: a push up to here or here, and then a drop to the downside. But that is not happening as of yet, because currently price has taken out this level here. So now this is a watch zone that we are in right now. We need to keep an eye on this level here. So it's just landing session. If we get price breaking below this level, then we go short up to this point before the market decides to make a recovery. But if this H4 candle makes a rejection, a pullback, and close above this level here, that means we'll go for a long oil up onto this point to give us a potential head and shoulders. So something of this sort, right? If it comes here, potential head and shoulders, and drop to the downside. So this is what I'm seeing on oil. Currently bearish. We could get a short-term pullback to recover and then back to the bearish mode. So this is what I see with oil at the moment. Let's look at DXY. So if you've watched the video I posted on DXY from, I think, 2 days ago, where price was, the market opened and price was looking to break this level, and I marked this level as like, keep an eye here. If we get a rejection, we are looking to drop. And that is exactly what is happening here. So price made his attempt, failed to break, and now we have a head and shoulders pattern. So I'm bearish on Dixie, and I'm looking at a potential drop on Dixie from here to the downside here. All right. Worst case scenario, it will come back to test the high, but from the formation it has here, it looks all good for the dollar to drop. You could do something like this, test the high again and push back down. But I am bearish on Dixie until we get a break above here, which at this moment, it doesn't seem like something like that is looking to happen. So we treat Dixie as bearish. So what that means is we'll be looking for potential trades that is in line with a bearish Dixie. Potential trades that's in a bearish Dixie, but landing open, we need to keep an eye on this zone to see how it flips here. Best case scenario is in the next 3 hours, if we get a strong bearish confirmation, any big, it shouldn't necessarily be big, like any form of bearish candle close here would be a good, any bearish candle close below here gives more bearish confirmation for New York to continue pushing down. So this is a key area to keep an eye on the dollar. Last but not least, let's look at the JPY basket. So I have this nice markup here outlining the structure of the JPY basket. So what we can see here is this is our main low, our main high. Price created this level, pulled back, and we are trading below this EMA here. Price pulled back to this level here. So this is a key decision level here. From what is happening now, I see price maintaining that bearish momentum because it looks like we have this corrective push into this liquidity. So I'm keeping an eye, but I am bearish here, looking out for price dropping down to this low liquidity here. If that happens, it means we should be looking for buy opportunities on the JPY pair. So weak dollar, weak JPY, but it all needs to meet a criteria. We need to keep an eye on this level and that of this for the Dixie, right? So this is one of the reasons why I don't like trading USD JPY. I'm not sure, most of you wouldn't know, but those of you who have taken a few lessons from me or have watched some of my videos or have been in Smith Village for some time, you know, I don't typically trade USD JPY until it has a very nice setup. The reason being that most of the time when you have the dollar strong, it's translating to Japan. So Japan also becomes strong. So trading two strong pairs are mostly tricky. So you can see how this is moving. Most of the dollar pairs are moving with very strong momentum candle, but USD JPY has just been stalling around that level, which is not so good. So at this moment here, depending on how weak the dollar is, most of the time you see the yen moving, being the one that is taking the lead. So what you would want to keep an eye on is the low here. If we get a bearish close here, then we can sell to this level here before we see how price reacts from that level. But as I said, that is not something I'll be looking to trade personally. So I will pass on that. Let's keep an eye on. Let's look at USD CAD. So USD CAD, if we get there, so let's go back to the structure. So this is what we have. We've had a very strong uptrend and price just tap into this liquidity. So remember what we talked about on oil. Oil is sitting on this level for a potential drop here. So the best thing that can happen for USD CAD is for oil to reject and close above here. That means it's going to push up. When that happens, we should be looking out for the USD CAD to make a very big drop, at least up to here, the ATR for the day, which is about 75 pips. We could go lower, but we need to treat it as it is until the market changes. So currently, this is the liquidity level that price could tap into and push it up. So we are looking for either of these is going to cause USD CAD to drop. So if we get a Dixie drop or US oil push up, that is going to make US oil drop. So that is something to keep an eye on. Let's look at the 1 hour time frame. All right. right, so on the 1 hour time frame, we are still bullish here, but what we would like to keep an eye on is this new liquidity that is created here. We would want to see how price reacts into this level. Any rejection from here, we look to go short for that 75 pips on USD card. Yeah. USD CHF. So USD CHF is just like Dixie. So if the Dixie pushes up, USD CHF would also push up. As we can clearly see here, this is still a bullish market. The market tried to push down with 3 candles. That is 12 hours of price action, and still we had a bearish push here. So this is what we had. Corrective push. The market is back to the zone here. What we would like to do is, because we are looking out for potential drop in the dollar, we would like to keep an eye on this high to see how price react to it. What we are looking out for is price stays below this low, and we will look for a bearish price action to go short here. But important, we keep an eye on this. If we break this level, sometimes what it will do, it will fake out and drop. But if it fake out, that's tricky. We don't know if that is just faking out or it is breaking for the continuation, because on the 4 hour we have a very strong uptrend. But it makes a lot of sense for price to drop to test this low, even if it's looking to go up, because we've taken out this high and price might come here and then continue the up movement if it fails to break this level here. So that's something I'll be keeping an eye on, especially with my bearish sentiment on the Dixie. I'm keeping an eye on this zone for potential push here or rejection here to the downside. USD CHF. So I'm bearish on this, but I don't have a confirmation for a sell yet until I see how price reacts to that upward push there. USD CHF, I have a markup on USD CHF. I did it just a few hours ago. So we have this high, price created this low, pullback, created this level. So I had this trend line connecting these levels here. So we've had a breakout here. Price took out liquidity and push up. So what I'm looking at is there are two things. If price pushes up into this level here, I'll be looking for a sell opportunity here. I don't know which one would come first, but we are still bullish. So hopefully the bullish momentum comes first. So if price continues and push into this zone, I'll be looking to sell into this liquidity here for about 120 pips. If price decides to drop from current price into this liquidity here, I'll be looking to buy Euro CHF for the same amount, 120 pips. So I'm just waiting for what to happen, and then I'll make a move around either at this level or this level. But because of the way the price action here, we are still bullish, high chances price would go here for a short here. So now let's look at CHF JPY. So CHF JPY made a push to the upside, rejection, and then we are back into this zone. So remember what we talked about on JPY baskets, that we're looking for potential rejection from here to go to the downside. When that happens, we are going to see CHF JPY reject from this level here. So we've created this double top for price to drop into this zone, and also this trend level here. So I'll be keeping an eye here for how price reacts here, and I'll be looking to take a buy from here depending on price reaction here to go back up. And at that level, I might be looking to be bearish. So something of this is possible, right? A little consolidation here, push back up, and we get a head and shoulders pattern. And then from there, if price fails to break this low, I'll be looking to go short long term. Short long term. So that is my plan for USD CHF. So it's either I'll be looking for a potential buy here. I'll just chill. If the market pulls back and at this level, I'll be looking at potential selling opportunities if price decides to fail to break this level here. Euro JPY, very similar sentiment here, but the structure looks different. So what I'll be looking out for on Euro JPY, it depends on how price react to this level here. But if the JPY basket drops like we are looking at, I'm expecting price to continue very strong bullish, at least up onto this high here, high levels here. A break of that level, then we'll be targeting the upper zone here, because we are still very bullish here. We've taken down this high, we came down to slightly test, and then we had Asian consolidation and a pullback here. So it makes a lot of sense for price to push up. But again, we need to see how JPY baskets react for a long-term push to the upside. So we'll keep an eye on this. If you want to keep a close eye, look at the H1. We see some momentum coming in after the Asian consolidation. So it makes a lot of sense to look for buy opportunity here. And from here to the high here, this is about 125 pips on Euro JPY. So you know what this means. So CAD JPY is a little tricky. So CAD JPY would follow what JPY would do, but most of the time it's going to follow what the Canadian dollar would do. So this will be a really good buy if the US oil fails to break below the level we talked about. If it doesn't break below this level and it pushes up, we're expecting the yen to be weak. So if it pushes up from here, CAD JPY will be a really good buy. CAD JPY will be a very good buy, but I'm not really seeing a level here. So what we can see, the only thing I see here for a potential level for price to sit on is we had about 16 hours of price action here. If we add a current candle, that is 16 hours of price action and nothing happened here. So that could be a sign of the market signaling that it's not ready to push to the downside. So it's good to keep a close eye on this level. If we get a rejection, a close above this range here, that is a clear sign for price to continue bullish to this level here for 160 pips on CAD JPY. But again, we are bearish. You see, price just broke below the EMA and we are sitting right on top of the EMA. So it makes a lot of sense for price to also drop, but the price action is pointing to this ranging setup here, and coupled with what we're expecting on the JPY basket, makes a lot of sense for CAD JPY to bounce to the upside from the current level. So I'm bullish on CAD JPY. I'm actually bullish on all the JPY pairs, but I would wait for a few confirmation on most of them, especially if this H4 candle on the JPY basket closes bearish, then that will be a good confirmation for more pushes to the downside on the JPY basket. GJ is kind of tricky. So with GJ, we've had this high, low, price created this level, we failed to break, and we are gradually trading inside. So we've had this drop to test this level here. So I'm keeping an eye on this trend line, how price react to this trend line, and also this zone here. If we get a rejection here, just like most of the JPY pairs, I'll be looking to buy above here to this level here for about 150 pips for now, and we will wait for the next price action to see if we could get here long term, depending on what the pound does as well. So I didn't talk about Euro GBP, but I'll go there in a second. If we break below here, I don't think I'll be looking to sell here because I'm bearish. Sorry, I'm bullish. So I'll be looking for price to drop here, and I'll look to attempt another buy at this level here. So JPY, if it breaks below, GBP JPY, if it breaks below, I'm not going to buy. Yeah. Let's look at Euro GBP in a second. So Euro GBP made a big push to the upside. Let's go to the daily time frame. So when the market opened on, this was Friday, the market opened Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and now we have this bearish push here. So long term, I want to see Euro JPY comes back to test this liquidity, and then we continue to the upside. But that might take a long time before it does that. But currently, we see some bearish tone in the market here. See some bearish tone in the market here. At least I'm expecting a little drop into this zone for the up movement to continue. So that's something I'll be keeping an eye on. But because of my bias of potential price drop to this level, when price is here, I'll be a little careful to not sell. If that happens, that means strong GBP. And I'm not going to trade this, but if we see price dropping from here, that will give more confirmation for GJ to push up from here to this level here for that 150 pips. So this is something I'll be keeping an eye on. And technically, if you look at this level, it looks like we have what potential head and shoulders pattern, and prices coming back to test this zone. So I'll keep an eye here to see how this H4 candle close, and that will give us an idea of how to act long term. NZD JPY, just like the other JPY pairs, I am bullish. It looks like this is the only JPY pair that's actually looks very bullish here. So we've had a low price push up, broke the high, and it's sitting on this level here. So this might be one of the first ones to move if we get a JPY basket dropping. This is actually very interesting. Maybe I might take this one now. But the thing is, price might come back. If the JPY decide to react, price might come back. Okay, we've not tapped into that level. Price might come back, test here and go. I'll keep an eye on this. I'm not taking this now. I'll still wait for the H4 close to decide what to do with this. And that's about 147 pips on this one. AUD JPY. So AUD JPY also very bullish here, but I don't quite like the price action here. But what we have here is price retest of this zone. We have this low. We broke in this high, and this is our major low here. It's actually quite a decent price action, but because of the way price is very steep here and it's still trading below this level, it's kind of tricky for me. But it is, compared to most JPY pairs, it looks like actually very bullish. Very bullish. Low price takes out these two highs, create an intermediary low, and then rejects here, tapping into the EC. So this is actually very bullish. Very bullish. So these are the two JPY pairs that's actually showing very bullish momentum for price to continue pushing to the upside. So if we get a confirmation for a buy here, what you should be targeting here is about $150 pips there about for AUD JPY. GBP CHF. So GBP CHF I was looking at more bearishness on GBP CHF when price tapped here. But price pushed back down and created a new liquidity and tapped into the liquidity. So I'm actually looking to be a bull here, but there is so much going on here. So this is how I would want to treat this. Let me quickly check something on the daily time frame. Let me take note of the 20 the EMA high on there. So that is that level here. This actually looks a little tricky. It looks like this was the right time to buy here. The right time to buy was when price tapped into this level here for that buy here. Now it's a little tricky because at this level here, there is this hidden resistance here. Even if price is looking to buy, you could get a big pullback before you continue. So this is setting up from the price action here. It looks like it's setting up for a long-term push to the upside, but it's a little tricky until it breaks this level here. So here, we had a double bottom. This is our intermediary high, major high, intermediary low. So let's mark this level here. And that said, there's a strong resistance in the past price drop push. But at this point, we are looking for price to continue pushing to the upside. But this has moved a lot from the current level, so it's kind of tricky. It has moved about 40 pips, and we are looking at it moving about 60 pips more. So it's a little tricky because if you decide to buy here, your stop will be here. So you'll be looking at about 1:1. But if 1:1 risk to reward makes sense to you, you could buy here and take profit here. Best case scenario, you could come all the way here, but who knows? If we are going all the way there, that would actually make a lot of sense to actually buy here. TP at this point here is good because that is 142 reward for 67 pip stop. Not that terrible, yeah. That's 1:2.1 risk reward ratio. That makes a lot of sense here. I'll still keep an eye. If price makes a little pullback, I don't think it would because it has already tested this level, but I'll keep an eye. If I get some bearish push here, that would make it 3.5 risk reward ratio. That would actually be good for a push to the upside here. SGDJPY. Very bearish. I don't trade this, but I use it as a correlative instrument here. Very, very, very bearish here. Anticipated this thing happening. So this is a GBP USD, and GBP USD has not made any significant push after this main drop here. It's been consolidating. Yesterday we had this drop from here, but because of what we are looking at for on the Dixie, that potential drop on the Dixie from either here or here, this could see a big pullback coming in on GBP USD, but we are still very, very, very bearish here. So I was looking to go long here, but then I spotted this 15 minutes level. I think that's where price tapped into. the 15 minutes level. Yeah, price tapped into that 15 minutes level. So it's still a little tricky on days, very bearish. We could actually have a very bearish day here, depending on how this H4 candle close. So this candle technically did not engulf this H1. So this is where price actually tapped into, but still keeping an eye on how price reacts to this level, because I have a bullish GBP sentiment today, and then a bearish Dixie if price stays below this level here, which is not quite doing well. So, all right. Another thing I just spotted with the Dixie is this level here. Price could actually push all the way back up here before the drop happens. So that would be a little tricky on the GBP USD. To be a little tricky. So still watch and see what kind of levels are created, especially current price, to see if price breaks this low. If it doesn't break this low, you know what that means. That is a head and shoulders pattern here. All right, and then we could get a pullback into this zone here. So even that, we are not going up long term. If it decides to push to the upside, this would be about, I was about to say just 200 pips, but it's not just. That would be a decent 200 pips push to the upside. So we're keeping an eye here. But if this candle closes the way it is looking to close, this will be another strong bearish day for GBP USD. So hopefully in the next 1 hour, we get a rejection from here, and then that could give us a good push to the upside. Because if this candle closes the way it is, it will push back up and continue dropping. So I'm looking at another pullback on the Nasdaq. I'm talking about a very big pullback up to this level here, and maybe NFP might make it drop again. But we are not quite getting it. So this is still a bearish price action. High, low, and price is here. If this breaks below, just like GBP USD, if this breaks below, we'll get another bearish day for the Nasdaq. So still a little tricky. So this setup looks very similar to what we have on the GBP USD. So we have this low here. There's a level sitting here that price might look to test. If price tests this level, then that will be good for a big bullish day for the Nasdaq. And that, if that happens, we would expect a similar thing to happen for the US 30 as well. So this is a potential level to try for a buy. If we break the low, that is done. It is gone. We can't do anything about this. Euro USD, I'm actually in a buy, but it's tricky. Price is back to the zone again. So this is my entry. We had about 42 pips. Damn, that was a lot of pips. I think I should have taken at least take profit one from here. 42 pips was a lot of movement. I didn't even do the 42 pips, and now it's back to zero. That's a little tricky, but we are still in the zone. I just hope so. The stop was somewhere below And that's a little tricky because now I'm scared price might do this. I'm scared if Dixie decides to, yeah, that's a little tricky because of the, if you look at this pattern here, that's a very nice rhombus pattern with a breakout. So this is very tricky. If this thing hits my stop loss, I'm going to cry. I'm not really going to cry, but I'll be pissed because after 42 pips, that's tricky. So this actually looks very, very, very possible. I just hope something tricky happens here for the market to push back up. So this is a level where price could come back to before pushing up. And it makes a lot of sense, especially looking at how the Dixie is setting up. We could come all the way here. So Euro USD, some kind of paste. Should I do on this? Should I do on this? Okay, I'm doing. So I'm still in loss, even though it's still in profit here. The the swap, because of the swap, I'm in loss. Maybe I might break even and put a sell limit here. Sell limit here for potential reversal in the New York session. Some kind of paste happens. CHFJPY. So most of the setup, so this, oh Jesus, GJ. So GJ, this buy at this zone might be something that makes sense because when price pulls back into this level, that makes a lot of sense for price to drop here. NJ is also sitting on that level. So most setups are very tricky right now. So NJ can also drop here before they push to the upside. I think I'm going to sit a little bit to see how. At least the first 4-hour candle close, which is in 1 hour time. And I'll make a major decision. But Euro USD. I want this pullback to happen. I want this pullback to happen. So AUD USD is technically still bearish. One level to keep an eye on is this level I've marked here. Price could potentially flip to the downside before it pushes back up, but currently price is sitting on this level, and if you got in here, you should still stay break even because there is a potential for price to continue pushing here. It's kind of a little tricky now because of what Dixie is doing. So very tricky. Dixie could push up before it drops. When that happens, that is going to cause AUD USD to drop down here before the buy. And a similar thing is expected on NZD USD. NZD USD is bearish, but there's potential for price to flip to the upside, but it's still also waiting for Dixie to make a move. And this could be a long-term buy, especially when price breaks above the high because of what is setting up here. Could get the long-term buy. So we have a potential head and shoulders here. 1, 2, and 3 if that level maintains. And that will give us something of this breakout, retest, long-term push to the upside. But still waiting for Dixie to make a decision. NZD-JPY was a trade I was looking out for yesterday. So I was expecting price to test this level, but it kept on going. So this is something I'll be keeping an eye on, a drop here. I wanted a drop to happen so that I take a buy, but I don't want the drop to happen because when it drops, Euro USD will also drop. So yeah. But if this thing drop back to this zone, that would be a buy for me long term. This is where my TP is, but long term, I'll actually be targeting price coming back to give us a double top here. Again, because of the same pattern that price has for us here. So here we've broken out, and this could give us a pullback. Euro USD, I'm hoping price does not mess me up, but I'm currently in profit. I don't know if I should close and wait for the pullback or should just let it be. I think I'm just going to let it be. If I get taken out, that is just part of the game. I'm hoping the EMA saves my life. My beautiful EMA saves my life and cause a rejection for price to continue pushing up, because this thing is pushing up. Worst case scenario to drop here and continue pushing up. So yeah, let's look at our Asian pairs. So this, so I already changed the bias for this already. GBP AUD, I posted this setup in the Telegram channel where we had a pullback. So price went a little higher into the zone and it's going down. So we're going all the way down here. So here, I didn't take this trade because it was Asian session and I was not really sure of how price was going to react here. So I'll keep an eye on this zone for another potential sell. If price is generous enough to pull back into the zone, I'll sell down here. So I'll see what happens. Euro AUD has been very tricky. Very tricky. I had this here. I was looking to sell, but I later changed my mind. But now it looks like it's setting up something interesting here. Keeping an eye here for something like this. Up and then sell. Up and sell. Similar setup on Euro and NZD. Up, back to give us a double top, and then sell. NZD-CHF has had a lot of nice setups, but I've missed almost all of them. Missed almost all of them. Missed almost all of them. Oh, sorry. Nothing interesting here. It's interesting here at the moment. I think there's a CHF bank. Sorry. There's a CHF CPI. I'm sure it's today. Forex factory. So this is the first thing you would want to do every given day. You need to come and check what sort of fundamental data we have for the day so that you don't get caught on the wrong side. So you're interested in the, most of you know this already, in the red folder, but it's also good to keep an eye on the orange folder, as some of them could have slightly good impact on the market as well. So ADP non-employment, so NFP employment change. This is something significant. So this is in like 4 hours time. So this could be the confirmation for the dollar to either push to test the zone and drop. So if this pushes the dollar up to the zone, then you know what to do. It means we are going to get a weak dollar. But for the sake of my Euro USD, I don't want that to happen. Hey, this CHF, this was a good setup, man. I don't know why I didn't take this. I know I didn't take this, but this is gone now. Card CHF, the same thing. But I think Euro card sell is still something that makes sense. Euro card potential sell here, but I'll look for this close here. If it closes below this level here, I'll look to sell into these lows here. Gold is doing great. So we sold gold from yesterday, and it was a very nice sell price, hit TP, and we are now testing this level here. So here on the 1 hour, price has already broken the low, but it's good to keep an eye here. If Dixie decides to push up to the level that we highlighted before the drop, this is something to keep an eye on. If gold would also push up here and continue to the downside, so that if that happens, we'll be looking to short gold from here. But because we've broken the low, it's a little tricky. And this guy's done 180 pips. We left too early. BTC is making a little bit of recovery here. A little bit of recovery here, but I don't know if you've seen my BTC video. Did I do a BTC video recently? No, I don't think so. If BTC pushes up, this is where it's going to tap into this level and continue to drop. Yeah. All right, so end here, and we'll have another session next week, Tuesday. It's unfortunate we don't have any direct setups for you to like buy and sell, but hopefully in subsequent lessons we'll have like very nice setups to share with you. But then go over everything I've talked about and look at the pointers I mentioned, and then wait for them to happen and then go in for your trade. All right, have a peaceful week. And if you are new to the channel, like, share, subscribe, and the link to the community would be in the video. Click to join the community.